What if I told you that everything you've been taught about learning English is wrong? That the hours of memorizing grammar rules, the endless flashcards, the stressful tests, what if they are actually the slowest, most difficult way to learn? What if the secret to fluency wasn't in these books, but in this? What if you could become fluent in English by being lazy? Stay with me, because the story I'm about to share will completely change the way you think about learning English forever. Hello and welcome to English Journey. I'm Celine, and I'm so happy you're here with us today. Our channel is all about helping you grow personally while you master English. We believe that learning should be a joyful part of your life, not something that adds stress. That's why we release new videos every single day to give you the tools, motivation, and inspiration to improve your English and transform your life. If this is your first time here, or if you've been with us for a while, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to our channel. It helps us so much and ensures you won't miss any of our daily content. Today's story is about a young man named Leo and his discovery of the lazy way to learn English. His journey is packed with powerful lessons that can help you learn faster and with more joy. And make sure you watch until the end, because I'll have a few key takeaways from the story and a short quiz to help you remember these powerful ideas. Now, let's begin Leo's story. Part 1. The Wall of Frustration. Leo was a dreamer. He dreamed of traveling the world, of connecting with people from different cultures, and of watching his favorite Hollywood movies without needing subtitles. The key to unlocking these dreams, he knew, was English. So, he did what everyone told him to do. He bought the best grammar books. He downloaded 5 different language learning apps. He created hundreds of flashcards with new vocabulary words. His desk was a fortress of learning materials. Every day after work, he would sit down for his English time. 2 hours. No exceptions. He was disciplined. He was dedicated. And he was miserable. After 6 months of this intense effort, Leo could barely form a simple sentence without panicking. He remembered one particularly bad day. A tourist had stopped him on the street to ask for directions to the train station. Leo knew the answer. He had memorized the exact vocabulary for turn left, go straight, and it's on the corner. But when he opened his mouth, his mind froze. He was frantically trying to remember the correct preposition. Was it on the corner or at the corner? He pictured the grammar rule in his book, but the words wouldn't come. He just stood there, stammering, until the tourist gave a confused smile and walked away. Leo felt a hot wave of shame wash over him. All that studying for nothing. When he tried to speak, his mind would go blank. He would search for the right grammar rule, try to remember the perfect vocabulary word, and translate everything from his native language in his head. The result was a slow, awkward, and painful silence. The conversations he dreamed of felt more distant than ever. He felt like he was hitting a wall. Why is this so hard? He would ask himself, flipping through another page of verb tenses that made no sense. Maybe I'm just not good at languages. The joy he once felt for his dream was turning into frustration and self-doubt. Learning English had become a chore, a heavy weight he had to carry every day. He was on the verge of giving up. Have you ever felt like Leo? Trapped by rules and methods that just don't seem to work for you? Leo was about to quit, but a simple, accidental discovery was about to change everything. What he found is something you can start using today without buying a single new book. Part 2. The Accidental Discovery. One Friday night, Leo felt completely defeated. He couldn't stand to look at his English books anymore. No more studying tonight, he declared to his empty apartment. I just want to relax. He decided to watch a movie. He chose an American action film he had loved as a kid, one he had seen dozens of times. He knew the story by heart. Just as he was about to turn on the subtitles in his native language, a thought crossed his mind. I'm so tired, he thought, I don't even want to read subtitles. On a whim, he turned them off completely. He just wanted to watch the action, listen to the music, and not think too hard. He leaned back on his sofa and pressed play. At first, his brain tried to translate. It tried to catch every word, but he gently pushed the feeling away. It doesn't matter, he told himself. Just watch. And then, something amazing happened. Because he wasn't trying to learn, he wasn't stressed. Because he already knew the plot, he could understand what was happening even if he didn't know all the words. He started to notice things he hadn't before. The rhythm of the actors' speech, the emotion in their voices. He could guess the meaning of a new phrase from the context of the scene. He found himself laughing at the jokes and feeling the excitement of the chase scenes. For the first time in months, he was enjoying English. He wasn't studying. He was just having fun. When the movie ended, he felt a spark of excitement he hadn't felt in a long time. It was a feeling of lightness, of possibility. What if, he thought, what if this is the way? This was Leo's breakthrough moment. He had stumbled upon the core principle of what I call the neurological alignment method, or simply, the lazy way. It's about working with your brain, not against it. But how do you turn watching movies into a real learning system? Leo's next steps are crucial. Part 3. The Lazy Method in Action. Leo became a linguistic detective. He spent the weekend researching how our brains naturally learn languages. He discovered that as babies, we don't learn by studying grammar rules. We learn by being immersed in a language we can understand through context. We listen, we observe, we absorb. Traditional methods, he realized, treat language like a collection of facts to be memorized. This uses a part of our brain called the declarative memory. But speaking a language is a skill, like riding a bike or playing the piano. These skills are stored in a different part of the brain, the procedural memory. His intense studying was targeting the wrong system. So, Leo designed a new plan. A lazy plan. It had 3 simple rules. Rule number 1. Find your fun. Leo threw away his boring textbooks. Instead, he made a list of everything he loved to do, watching sci-fi movies, following his favorite YouTubers who talked about technology, listening to podcasts about history, and reading simple fantasy novels. From now on, his English learning would come from these sources. No more boring content. Ever. Rule number 2. The 80% comprehension rule. He knew he couldn't just jump into a complex political documentary and expect to understand it. That would only lead back to frustration. So, he created the 80% rule. He would only watch or listen to things where he could understand about 80% of the content, either through the visuals, the context, or the words he already knew. For other learners, a goal of 30% or 60% might be more realistic to start. Finding this content was an adventure. He discovered that travel vlogs were perfect. The speakers often pointed to what they were talking about, making it easy to understand. He found a vlogger exploring Japan, a country he was familiar with, which helped him guess the meaning of sentences immensely. He also watched cooking shows where the actions on screen matched the words perfectly. Rule number 3, active and passive immersion. Leo divided his lazy learning into 2 types. He thought of it like exercise. Active immersion. This was his focused workout for 1 hour every day. He would sit down without his phone or any other distractions and give his full attention to an English movie or a YouTube video. He would turn on the English subtitles, not subtitles in his own language. This was critical. Reading in his native language would stop his brain from making the connections in English. With English subtitles, he could connect the sounds he heard to the words he saw. If he heard a cool phrase, he would pause and repeat it out loud, trying to mimic the speaker's accent and emotion. He wasn't just watching, he was interacting. Passive immersion. This was his gentle, all-day stretch. For a few hours every day, while he was cooking, cleaning, or exercising, he would play English content in the background. It could be a podcast he had already listened to or music with English lyrics. He wasn't trying to actively listen. The goal was to let the sounds and rhythms of the language wash over him, training his brain to recognize the patterns of English subconsciously, like a song you know by heart without ever trying to learn it. Part 4. The Silent Period and the Surprise. For 3 months, Leo followed his lazy method. He didn't force himself to speak. He didn't worry about grammar. He just immersed himself in English content that he genuinely enjoyed. His friends thought he had given up on learning. "I haven't seen you with your English books lately," one of them said. "Nope," Leo replied with a smile. "I'm taking a new approach." He was in what some linguists call the silent period. It's a crucial phase where the brain is absorbing massive amounts of information, building connections, and creating a map of the new language. Forcing speech too early is like trying to draw the map before you've explored the territory. He was patient. He trusted the process. Then came the real test. A new colleague from the United States joined his company. At lunch, a group of them were gathered around a table, and his new American colleague, Sarah, asked him a question directly. "Leo, I heard you're into old sci-fi movies." "Me too. What's your all-time favorite?" Old Leo would have frozen. His mind would have raced, searching for rules and words, and a long, awkward silence would have followed. But this time was different. Without thinking, without translating, the words just came out. "That's a tough one," Leo heard himself say, in surprisingly clear English. "But I'd have to go with Blade Runner. The atmosphere is just incredible." Sarah's face lit up. "No way. I love that movie." The conversation flowed. Leo talked about the film's visuals, its themes, and his other favorite movies. He wasn't perfect. He made some small mistakes, and he occasionally had to search for a word. But it didn't matter. He was communicating. He was connecting. He was having the kind of conversation he had dreamed of for so long. His colleagues stared at him, amazed. "Leo, when did your English get so good?" one of them asked. Leo just smiled. "I got lazy," he said. Leo's transformation seems like magic, but it wasn't. It was the result of a method that aligns with how our brains are built to learn. He stopped fighting his brain and started working with it. The final part of his journey shows how he took his conversational skills to true fluency. Part 5. From Conversation to Fluency. Leo's success motivated him even more. He continued his lazy method, but he added a new step: lazy output. He didn't sign up for stressful speaking classes. Instead, he started talking to himself. When he was walking home, he would describe what he saw around him in English. After watching a video, he would talk to himself about his opinion of it. "That was a really interesting point," he'd say out loud. "I disagree with her conclusion, though." It felt strange at first, but it was a zero-pressure way to practice turning his thoughts into spoken words. He would even record himself on his phone for 1 minute a day, talking about anything his day, his plans, his dreams. Listening back, he could spot his own mistakes and areas for improvement without any external judgment. Eventually, he felt ready for more. He found an online language exchange partner, a guy named Mark from Australia who wanted to learn Leo's native language. He was nervous before their first call, but he reminded himself, this is for fun, not a test. They talked for an hour every week, 30 minutes in English, 30 minutes in Leo's language. They talked about simple things: food, travel, music. Mark was friendly and patient, and Leo quickly realized that making mistakes wasn't a failure. It was just part of the conversation. A surprising side effect of all this listening and reading was that his writing improved dramatically. Emails at work became easier to compose. They sounded more natural. He even took a short online course in digital marketing, taught in English, and found that he could write the short essays without much trouble. The correct sentence structures were simply there in his mind, ready to be used. Within a year of starting his lazy method, Leo was fluent. Not textbook perfect, but real, confident, and natural. He had unlocked his dreams, not through grueling hard work, but through joy, curiosity, and a little bit of strategic laziness. Recap and takeaways. Leo's story is so powerful, isn't it? It shows us that the most effective way to learn is often the most enjoyable one. Let's quickly recap the key takeaways from his journey, the principles of the lazy method. Stop studying, start immersing. Ditch the boring textbooks and flashcards. Learn English through content you genuinely love, like movies, music, YouTube videos, or books. Find your fun. Follow a comprehension rule. Choose content that is challenging, but not overwhelming. You should be able to understand most of it from context. This keeps you motivated and prevents frustration. Embrace the power of input. Spend most of your time listening and reading. Use English subtitles to connect sounds with words. Don't stress about speaking until you've had hundreds of hours of input. Trust the silent period. Practice with lazy output when you're ready to speak. Start by talking to yourself. It's a low-pressure way to build confidence before you start speaking with others. Be patient and trust the process. Fluency doesn't happen overnight. But by making English an enjoyable part of your daily life, you are not just learning a language, you are building a sustainable, lifelong habit. I hope Leo's story has inspired you to look at your own English journey in a new light. If you found this story helpful, please give this video a like and subscribe to English Journey for more motivational stories and practical tips every single day. Your support means the world to us. Quiz. Now for our quick quiz to help you remember what you've learned. There are no right or wrong answers here, just an opportunity to think. Answer these questions for yourself in the comments below. I would love to read your thoughts. Question 1. What was the biggest reason Leo's traditional study methods failed him? Question 2. What was Leo's 80% comprehension rule, and why was it so important? Question 3. What is one lazy learning activity from the story that you can start doing today? Question 4. What is the difference between active immersion and passive immersion in Leo's method? Question 5. Why was the silent period, where Leo focused only on listening and reading, so important for his success? Take a moment to think and share your answers in the comments. Engaging with the material like this is a great way to make it stick. Conclusion. Thank you so much for spending this time with us at English Journey. Remember, your path to fluency doesn't have to be filled with stress and frustration. It can be a journey of discovery, joy, and personal growth. Be like Leo. Be kind to yourself, find your fun, and trust the beautiful, natural process of learning. Keep dreaming, keep growing, and we'll see you in the next video tomorrow. Goodbye for now.